Hi, I'm Kristin, a librarian here at Massanutten Regional Library, and for February's Adult Craft, we are going to put together this cute little love sign here. I got this idea from mycraftyspot.com. Like I said, I'm not a very crafty person, and I spend a lot of time looking online for good ideas. Sometimes I piece them together, but this one I just basically pulled straight from them, so thanks to mycraftyspot.com. In your kit, you are going to receive, if you picked one up from the library, a 14 by 14 inch canvas. You are going to receive some cardstock, 1 piece of plain red, 3 pieces of gold, and 1 piece of sparkly red. You're also going to get black paint, a little foam paintbrush, 4 pieces of felt, and then some templates to use to cut out your letters and heart. At home, you are going to need some scissors. If you're a perfectionist like me, you're going to want a ruler and some masking tape or painter's tape to tape off your lines. And then just some regular scotch tape to adhere your plain letters. If you want to do it that way. You can also glue it. If you're going to do the felt hearts, you're really going to need a glue gun. So I have a glue gun here. If you don't have a glue gun at home and you still want to make this, that is what the sparkly red paper is for, and we'll just make a sparkly red heart instead of the floral felt hearts. So with that, let's go ahead and get started. All right, the first thing I want to do is go ahead and tape off a section to make stripes here so that we can, have a nice black and white stripe. So I'm using masking tape. You can also use painter's tape. Just do nice even lines here and then go around the sides too so that you can paint the sides so when you hang it on the wall it shows. Now I'm a bit of a perfectionist here. This is a 1-inch piece of masking tape, so since this is a 14-inch square canvas, I'm just measuring an inch so that I know that my white stripes and my black stripes are going to be exactly the same size, because that just makes me feel better. So we'll just go along like so. All right, make sure you lay it down nice and tight so we don't get any overlap there. Okay, once we have our tape down, and like I said, make sure it's nice and tight to your canvas here so you don't get any bleed from your black stripes to your white stripes. We're just going to paint all of the exposed stripes black, and our covered stripes will therefore be white. So just dip it in your paint. My preference is to make sure that all my strokes go in the same direction because, as I said, I'm a perfectionist. So just give that a nice, and make sure you get the sides. And like for this black stripe, I'm going to go ahead and do the top too, just because I want all sides of my canvas to be kind of even when I hang it. I don't know which end's going to end up at this point. And so we'll just go through and do that with each of the uncovered stripes. Like so. All right, while our first coat of paint is drying, let's go ahead and work on our letters. So you'll see that I've included some templates for your letters in your kit that you picked up from the library. You have a couple of options of doing this. You can either cut around this letter and then put it on the back of here to cut. You can cut it and then trace it and cut it. I actually found it's pretty easy if you just kind of trim around it and then tape it to the back and just cut them both together. That's how I wanted to do it, but there's a million ways you can do that. I will say that you'll notice that the letters are backwards and you are putting them on the plain side, not the gold side, because once you cut it backwards from here, it'll be forwards here. So don't think you're going crazy. You do want it to be backwards when you're doing it from this plain back here. So like I said, I'm just going to put enough tape to secure it. If your hand's not that steady, you might want to cut out this letter and trace it first. But I'm not doing a very good job here. Okay. And then we're just going to go ahead and trim out the letters. All right, so there we have it. We have finished our letter L. You're going to do the same thing again with the V and the E. And then we're going to move on to the heart. So you'll have a heart template like this. You can also cut it freehand if you prefer to do it that way. If you're going to do the floral flowers, you want to go ahead and cut your heart out on the plain red cardstock. If you don't have the glue gun at home, then you can go ahead and cut your heart out on this sparkly red cardstock because we're just going to use that in place of the floral flowers. But for now, let's just go ahead and get our heart cut out, and we'll do the same thing that we did before. I'm going to do the tape and cut around method here. All right, so if we're going to go ahead and do the floral heart, we need to take our plain red cardstock and get one of our pieces of red felt and cut a heart out of the piece of red felt. Now, normally I'm very perfectionist about these things and I would probably trace around it, but for today I'm just going to hold it tight and trim around because I want my heart to be roughly the same size, but if it's not 100% perfect, it is not the end of the world. Okay, so now we should have our cardstock heart and our felt heart of roughly the same size. We're just going to take our glue gun, trying to get too carried away as I am prone to do. Just kind of give it a little bit around the edges here. Running out of glue, maybe a little in the middle. And just glue those together. So basically what we're doing is we're going to be gluing the flowers to the felt part. And so we need the felt to glue onto the felt, but then we want the cardstock on the back to help stabilize it when we hang it onto our canvas. So that's what we're doing there. Okay, now that we have our backing ready, let's go ahead and make some flowers to put onto it. You're going to take one of your 3 remaining felt sheets and cut it roughly into 6 pieces. They're not going to be exactly square, but somewhere in the vicinity is okay. You actually want all of your flowers to look a little bit different because that's how they look in reality. So I'm just going to go ahead, cut that into 6 pieces here. As you can tell, they're not anywhere close to perfect, which is just fine. I've been told I like to complain about how unsharp my scissors are, and that is what I'm thinking right now, in case you're curious. All right, so we've got this into 6 pieces. Let's go ahead and take one of them, and you're going to cut a rough circle out of here. It might be more of an oval just because we didn't have exactly square pieces to start with, but that is okay. I feel like I should tell you to have nice sharp scissors, but I don't practice what I preach, so I don't know if I have room to say that. All right. So we kind of have a little circle going on there. We'll get rid of our scraps. So now you're going to cut this circle into a spiral, not quite all the way to the middle because you need a little bit of base to hold it together. But you'll just kind of start from the outside, maybe about a finger's width wide that we're cutting here into the spiral. And just cut that into a circle. And then when you have about something like this at the bottom, that's what you're going to use to hold the flower together. So leave about that much at the end without, cutting it off there. So we have a nice fabric spiral here. We're going to start from the outside, so the skinny side where you started cutting, and just roll it inwards. Hopefully you can see this. You might find it easier to do it flat on the table. I actually find it easier to hold it in the air and do it. So my fingers might be blocking you, but hopefully you get what I'm going for here. Just roll it in a circle. Roll, 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 roll. And so then that little fat piece you left at the bottom, you're actually going to use as the base. So once you've rolled it all the way up, get your glue gun. Just put a little bit of glue on the base there and tap it to the bottom of the flower. And you should have a nice little felt flower. Now, if you think some of the sides, like I think that might be a little high right there, you can just, trim it a little as you like. So there we go. Okay, once you have your flowers all made, you have enough to make 18 flowers, but we'll probably only need 12 to 14. But, just in case you mess up a few or really want to go crazy and add some more on, we have plenty. You're going to take your flowers, put a little bit of glue on the base, and then just glue it to your felt heart. And you're just going to keep doing that until your heart is all filled with flowers. Doesn't that sound poetic? Okay, now that we have gotten all of our pieces assembled, we're going to go back to our canvas. Now, through the magic of television, my canvas is already nice and dry. I would suggest putting on a second coat after you do the first coat of black, and if you still don't like the looks of it, you can always do a third coat. Then you'll go ahead and peel off your masking tape and you'll be left with this nice, beautiful black and white striped canvas. Then all we have to do is just arrange our letters on our canvas. So obviously we're going to spell it in order here, which I'm working upside down, so hopefully my spelling looks okay. Now, this is where we're going to have a little bit of options. So if you don't have your hot glue gun at home and you just have your red sparkly paper, you'll have this. This will be your final kind of look here. If you do have your floral hearts with your hot glue gun, you're going to look a little bit more like this. But either way, I found that you can actually just scotch tape on your letters by putting just a few pieces on the back. Now, I'm just doing this because I have a feeling that I can see myself changing what's on here. Like I could see putting a shamrock on instead of a heart for St. Patrick's Day, or, you know, put an Easter egg, you know, in April. Just kind of changing the look here and there. So I don't see any need to make it more permanent than this, because it will hold on just fine with this little bit of tape. But you could also hot glue it on. You could use craft glue, but as you can see, the tape will work perfectly well. Well, I hope you enjoyed making this fun wall art with me today. Hang it up. I think you could hang it up all year round, frankly. Like I said, you could always change out your heart for the different seasons, because we could all use some love all year round. So until next month, happy crafting.